When we're talking about newly planted trees, one of the most important things that we need to consider is how we're irrigating them. Some of the most popular ways to water trees is going to be bubblers, drip irrigation. Some people just use their sprinklers, and then a lot of people do, just hand water. Some of the pros and cons of using bubblers is that, they only put water out at one specific location. And so it does a really good job at thoroughly wetting that area. But then if that bubbler or that root ball is a decent sized root ball, then it's not adequately getting the whole critical root zone saturated. Drip irrigation does a pretty good job at uniformly watering the critical root zone or the root ball, but it's really hard to see how much water you're putting out because you can't actually see the drip irrigation. When we're talking about sprinklers, a lot of times the amount that we're running our sprinklers isn't sufficient to completely saturate a large root ball. And then we have the hand watering, which is probably the best way to go about watering a newly planted tree, because you can monitor how much you're putting down. You can see whenever that root ball is completely saturated, but it's the most time consuming. We get asked a lot, how often should I water my trees? How much should I water my trees? And there's really not a perfect answer for that. One of the most important things is that we need to water very deeply and very infrequently. And so what that means is if we have a big root ball like this, we want to completely saturate that root ball, especially on a container grown tree where we actually see the water coming out. And then before we water again, we want to make sure that it's dry enough to justify that watering. Because if we're watering too frequently and shallow, we're never giving that tree enough water to drink at one time. And then it typically causes this effect where water is sitting at the bottom and it's dry on the top.